Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Cecily Pearson and I'm going to be officiating this afternoon, and shortly I'm going to start the afternoon's formalities by welcoming our official guests. So you can talk amongst yourselves again for a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of our official guests. Professor Tony Webber, AM, representing Associate Professor John Harden, AM, Chairman, the Order of Australia Association, Queensland Division. Commissioner Russell Bowles, ASM, Queensland Ambulance Service. Mr Lawrence Springborg, MP, Leader of the Opposition, Liberal National Party of Queensland. Mr David Mackie, Director General, Department of Justice and Attorney General. Commissioner Katarina Carroll, APM, Queensland Fire and Emergency Services. Please join me in welcoming our official guests. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of our Governor. His Excellency, the Honourable Paul de Jersey, AC, and Mrs Kay de Jersey. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Your Excellency, with your permission, we'll begin the ceremony. His Excellency the Governor will present the following awards. Appointed a Member of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Professor Carol Ann Dickinson. For significant service to tertiary education as a Senior Administrator, in particular at the University of Technology, Queensland, and to professional academic standards and development through contributions to multiple state and national bodies in higher education. Professor Karen Elizabeth Healy. For significant service to community welfare in the field of social work, particularly child protection, nationally and internationally, through contributions to child protection organisations, publications and community groups and to higher education and research. Dr. Ralph Harold Holtgren, for significant service to the arts, particularly music education and performance, at both state and national levels as an academic, composer, conductor and publisher, and to professional music organisations. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Miss Nicola Joy Demaney. For outstanding public service to the Queensland Judicial Service, particularly through leadership and commitment in the area of Queensland Public Service support for victims of violent crime, including in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. Mr. Bradford Houston John, for outstanding public service to the development of Queensland's mineral resources as Chief Queensland Government Geologist, through contributions to projects, programs and organisational arrangements, including the Exploration Attraction Unit, which promote and facilitate mineral exploration in the state. Your Excellency, awarded the Australian Fire Service Medal, Mr. Fabian Stangherlen, for leadership and distinguished service as a Rural Fire Service volunteer to Queensland Fire and Emergency Services through contributions to large animal rescue capabilities and the provision of flexible accommodation for Rural Fire Service personnel on active duty. Mr. Bruce Henry Trickey, for leadership and distinguished service to the Queensland Fire and Emergency Services in the development and implementation of training programs for station officers that have enhanced the service's capabilities in operations management. Awarded the Ambulance Service Medal, Mr. Michael Warren Day, for contributions to the Queensland Ambulance Service through high-level performance in a number of key roles in the QAS and for the establishment of an excellent rapport between the QAS and a number of regional communities in Queensland. Mr. Mark Cameron McDonald. For excellence in and dedication to patient care as a paramedic in Queensland communities for over 37 years, and for contributions to the performance of the Queensland Ambulance Service through education and training roles and initiatives. Ms. Jan Tooth, for services as a dedicated paramedic to the care of communities in Queensland, particularly Ipswich, and for contributions to the professionalism of the Queensland Ambulance Service, including through involvement in special projects and initiatives. Awarded the Emergency Services Medal, Mr. Andrew Gordon Bickerton. For significant leadership and contributions as local controller for the Somerset State Emergency Service Unit to community safety through enhancing the skills and capacity of the unit in responding to emergency situations. Mr. George Allen Hill, for service as a volunteer to Surf Life Saving Queensland, including in significant roles at the Point Lookout Club and on the Gold Coast, and for contributions at the state emergency service level to multi-agency cooperation and innovation. Your Excellency, awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Mr. Andrew Pierce Bell. For service to the community of the Gold Coast as convener and organiser of major charity fundraising events and as a contributor to marketing and community engagement for the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Mr. Mark Andrew Brimble. For service to the community through the tireless promotion of enhanced safety arrangements for cruise line passengers. Mr. Graham James Curnow, for service to the community through the Men's Shed movement as board member and Queensland representative in the Australian Men's Shed Association and in other related roles. Mr. Kenneth Ronald Edwards. For service to the community of Wynnum Manly through contributions in senior roles to many local community-focused organisations, including Rotary, Meals on Wheels and the Wynnum Manly Concert Band. Ms. Lynn Mary Foley. For services to technical and further education in Queensland in multiple senior positions at major secondary and tertiary education and training institutions and organisations in South East and Central Queensland. Dr. Anthony Peter Harrington. For service to medicine and to the community of the Sunshine Coast in senior clinical and education roles, particularly in the field of emergency medicine through fundraising and in the establishment of Queensland's first medical retrieval service. Mr. Fred Johnson. For service to athletics in Queensland through contributions to multiple local and state athletic organisations and as an official starter at significant local and international athletic events. Mr. John Macarone. For service to engineering in Queensland and nationally through significant contributions in senior positions at state and national level organisations active in the field of non-destructive testing. Dr. Takabi Bababi Patel. For service to the community through a range of volunteer health-related and other roles in Rotary and the Interplast Group and in organisations serving the Indian community in Queensland. Ms. Phyllis Ann Robalotta Glenister. For service to aged care and to the community through contributions at senior level to aged care, hospice and respite organisations and facilities, particularly in the Gold Coast area. Mr. Donald James Waters. For service to the community through charitable organisations and to the visual arts through volunteer contributions to local organisations and publications, and through the provision of art classes for veterans, particularly in the Beenleigh, Yatala and Jacobswell areas. Mr. Michael Floyd Williams. For service to business, particularly in the liquid natural gas sector, through senior positions in LNG-related companies and organisations, and through contributions to expert panels in the LNG field. Your Excellency, that concludes today's awards. Could I now invite you to address our recipients and guests? Thank you.
Mr. Lawrence Springborg, MP, Leader of the Opposition, other official guests, and our recipients and their proud supporters. Kay and I welcome you all most warmly to this historic and beautiful house, a kind of home office for us, albeit a rather grand one. It is a place where our extended families visit as often as possible, and our grandchildren, of course, and for the time being, as you may have noticed, police recruit dog Gavel. All enjoy this very large backyard, Queensland backyard. But it is also a formal residence, and it is the office of the Governor of Queensland, a place where ministers of the Crown are sworn in and election writs are issued, where members of the royal family and other dignitaries stay from time to time, people of importance to the state of Queensland and its development, and where a substantial number of formal receptions and dinners take place. The ceremony we have just witnessed is certainly in the formal category, and that is deliberate. The formality and the fact that today's ceremony is being live streamed emphasises the importance of the awards and our great respect and admiration for the awardees and their achievements. This house plays an important role in the ceremony. It offers an excellent ceremonial space like this, but is not overwhelming in size and scale. The fact that Fernberg was a private home for the first 45 years of its 150-year history may have helped strike the ideal balance. It is a house, along with its splendid grounds, that puts on its best face on very special occasions, and today's ceremony is certainly in that category. Today is special because we're celebrating a group of Queensland residents whose contributions in their fields have been judged by means of a rigorous vetting process to be deserving of prestige national honours and awards. And in one sense, today is not only special, but indeed unique, because this group of doers and achievers is highly unlikely ever to be gathered in one place again. Where else are we likely to see individuals prominent in the fields of tertiary education, social work and music education, rubbing shoulders with fireys, emergency services personnel and paramedics who have served their communities with great distinction? In what other place are you likely to see a prominent figure in the Men's Shed movement and a prominent contributor to charitable fundraising sharing a space with a starter for major international athletics events, someone who has played a major role in the development of our mineral resources, and another individual committed to enhanced safety for cruise line passengers. Where else are you likely to see, along a few rows of seats, individuals active in the fields of aged care, the visual arts, emergency medicine, surf lifesaving, supporting victims of crime, and supporting Meals on Wheels, topped off with an engineer who can tell us all about non-destructive testing. It is, ladies and gentlemen, that eclectic mix of people nominated, not by governments, but by any Australian citizen who so wishes, which makes our awards system different and indeed envied elsewhere in the world. There is yet another reason why today is special. That's because it allows us formally and informally to say a heartfelt thank you to our awardees for the many and varied ways in which they have made our communities much better places. As Governor of this wonderful state, I have the privilege of speaking for all Queenslanders in congratulating our awardees on the honour conferred on them today and in expressing our sincere thanks for their marvellous contributions to the well-being of Queenslanders right across the state. I omitted to mention earlier another advantage of this House, which is that it allows me not only to say thank you, but also to follow up with some Government House hospitality, giving us all an opportunity to meet awardees in a less formal environment and to share the pride and happiness of their families and friends. Enjoy the afternoon. We are most honoured to be sharing it with you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Viceregal Anthem. Your Excellency, can I invite you and Mrs. De Jersey to withdraw and before rejoining our recipients for a photograph. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.